you guys doing? All right, so like Brock said, my name is Davon Wilson-Angel. I remember when I was like getting ready for my season every year, like the closer it got to the season, I get more hype, I get more amped, like, okay, let's go. It's, just trying to make some money, because at this point, everybody's trying to do the same thing. Everybody's trying to get that one goal, and everybody's trying to get some money, and that's a scholarship. Whether it's, whether you're doing your scholarship in track or you're doing it in school, at this time of the year, you're trying to, get that money, you're trying to get your goal, you're trying to push for something. And for me, when I was here and I was running and everything, what kept me going and what kept me pushing was the fact that I wanted more. I wanted more for myself, I wanted more for my family, I wanted more for the people who were there for me, people who supported me and was behind me when I said like, hey look, I want to run track. My very first track meet, I ran 16.5. So I came from 16.5, and I remember that race like it was yesterday. I didn't really know much about track. I was still kind of new, so I get out there, I'm nervous as hell, and I run, and next thing you know, I run 16 seconds. I take 8th place. From that loss, I learned was most probably a loss to me, I think, in my career, because I learned that that's not what I want. I don't like feeling like I'm losing. I don't like losing. I don't like losing to myself versus losing to everybody else. And I felt like at that point I was defeating myself, because I knew I had potential and I knew I could be better than that. So later on in the season, I worked hard, I trained hard. I was here every day. I never missed practice. I was in the weight room every single day. It just didn't stop me, and I wanted something more. So when I get back on the track and a couple weeks down the line and I win my first race, I think it was in the Death Star. I won my first race, and I remember going across that finish line, and I remember winning, and I remember what that felt like. So if you ever won your race, you know what that felt like. If you ever lost a race, and you know what that feels like. I know what both sides feels like. I know what it feels like to come dead last, and not even being looked on radar, to come in first place, like, oh wow, who's this guy? And so when we go into the conference final for the Big A or whatever, I win that, so I win that, and I'm hyped up, I'm like, okay, yeah, like, I had a hard year, I've been doing it, I can do this. I get to state meet, which is one of my most tragic events in my life. State meet, I remember being hyped, like, I'm Davon Wilson-Angel, I just won this, I just won that, like, and can't nobody stop me. So I get in the blocks, I take a deep breath, try to, relax, get off the blocks, race going, boom, hurdle 1. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Hurdle 2, okay, I'm good. 3, 4, 5, 6, hurdle 7, hurdle 8, I'm coming up, and boom, I hit hurdle 8 with my lead leg, which made me stumble, which made me fall out of the race. And next thing you know, I'm dead last again. I see the whole competition just leave me. I feel like my hopes just left me, my dreams just left me. I felt like everything left me. I felt like I was done. Like, and that was just my first year, and I felt like I was done, and I was hot. I ain't gonna even lie, like, I was mad. Like, I never been that mad in my life. I went to our team dinner afterwards, I didn't eat. I was mad, bro. I got a picture on Facebook. Like, you see me just sitting there like this, just mad. Like, cause like losing don't sit right with me, I felt like I put in the work and I put in the effort to be a winner. So when I lost, I felt like, all that was for nothing. So that next day, the next morning, I called Brock, and I'm like, look, let's get in the weight room. Very next day, I tell Brock, like, hey, let's get in the weight room. And he's like, okay, let's go. So I get in the weight room, and that very next day, after state meet, ain't nobody tell me I had to do that. Ain't nobody was like, oh, maybe next year. I'm like, no, I'm gonna make next year happen. It's not gonna happen again. So I'm in the weight room, I'm doing my thing. I'm preparing for the next year, because I'm like, okay, next year is my last year, and that's my year where I gotta get some money. I gotta get a scholarship. I gotta make something happen. Eventually, I was able to get a scholarship. I was able to go to Long Beach State. And when I was at Long Beach State, I had kind of the same mentality. I was not gonna lose. Like, in this first race, my first year, like, I was coming into their program as a junior, so I wasn't looked at as somebody that's gonna be good or somebody that's gonna, they had their candidates. You see the cameras not even on me. So, with that being said, like, I wasn't gonna let that hinder me. I wasn't gonna let, what they thought, or what he thought, or what anybody else thought, or what anybody else was thinking was gonna affect me. Because all I know that at the end of the day, it's me, the lane, and the hurdle. And that's all I'm worried about. I'm not worried about who's next to me. I'm not worried about the other person. I'm not worried about my mom or my daddy. I ain't worried about none of that. I'm trying to get in this lane. I'm trying to get this money because I'm about to win. So that's my mindset and that's my mentality. What is your desire? What is your passion? Like, what drives you? What wakes you up in the morning to say, I'm going to school? What wakes you up to say, like, oh, I'm going to practice? Like, do you get hyped about that, or you like, oh man, I got practice? Me, I was hyped. Like, okay, I got practice. I get in the weight room. I'm like, okay, I'm throwing up big weights. Like, I had teammates with me. So, you guys are a team, so you gotta use each other. My teammates push me, like, if I'm lifting something light and they talking mess, or if I'm late for practice, they on my helmet, I'm on everybody's helmet. If you're missing practice or you're late, I'm on your helmet. Like, I don't care, because we're all reaching for the same goal. Track's an individual sport, but you're reaching for the same goal. You all want to win. I know that. Everybody wants to win. If you don't win, then better hope your teammate wins. That's what I always told my teammates. If I don't win, you better win. So I'll get second. You gotta hold each other accountable for that. Because at the end of the day, like I said, you guys are a team. And when you reach that point of greatness, and greatness is not just something that you just get from like talent. It's not something you get from the skills. What greatness for me is that desire to be great. It's not that thing that everybody says, like, oh, he's good. Yeah, he's good. But what makes him good? What pushes him? That desire, that drive, that fight. You see those people who say, like athletes, let's say like Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson, or Michael Jordan. You can see it in their face. Like, these people, they accept their greatness and they have a desire to be even better than that. So I want you guys to find your greatness, find your passion, find what drives you, and get better than that. Because at the end of the day, it's all on you. It's not on Rob, it's not on your team, it's not on the school, it's not on the administration, it's not on your classes, it's on you. What you want to do and how you want to leave. Do you want to leave a legacy, or do you just want to be another person on the roster? I wanted to leave something. I wanted to leave more than just being a person, a part of the team. Like, I don't want to be just a part of the team. I want to be the best person on the team. If I'm not the best, then I'm working to be the best, And it's like, you want to keep driving and keep pushing because it's out there, and it's out there for you, it's out there for me, it's out there. Like, you just have to grab it. It's not something that, oh, I'm not good enough, I wasn't good enough last year, I can't get it now. Like, no, it's there. It's there, and it's asking for you to knock on this door, but for some reason we find ourselves afraid to knock on the door of greatness. Like, we find ourselves afraid of a little pain, we find ourselves afraid of commitment, we find ourselves afraid of being denied, we find ourselves afraid of failure, which is BS, because failure is the most important thing to success. If you don't fail, you don't know that pain, what it feels like to lose, what it feels like to hurt, and how you're going to ever respect your grind, how you're going to ever respect when you win, how you're going to ever respect yourself. You can't even respect your hustle that you've been through, I've been through it a lot, and I've been through enough where I'm like, I don't want this, I want more for myself, so that's what drives me, that's what pushes me, that's what's called passion, so you need to use that passion. Everybody has it, everybody has a desire, everybody has a dream, and what you guys understand is that your dream is not something that's out of reach, it's right there, looking at you in your face, but you tell your dream no every time you skip practice, you tell your dream no every time you don't go to the weight room, every time you choose to stay out late and not sleep, every time you eat a cheeseburger from McDonald's, you tell your own greatness that no, I'm not knocking on this door. I'm going to find my own route. And it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work where it's just going to be handed to you. There's a lot of people who are gifted and talent is handed to them. And you see those same people who are like, okay, he don't even go to practice, he don't even work out. Next thing you know, they're not even as good. So talent can only take you so far if you're not putting in the work, if you're not putting in the effort. If you want something, then you have to go get it. Like, it's just as simple as that. You have to go get it. You just have to. You have to find what's inside you, and you have to go after it. You have to get it, you have to grab it, you have to hold on tight, you can't let that thing go. As soon as you let it go, somebody else is going to get on top of it. As soon as you get to the top of the mountain, there's always somebody else climbing up right behind you. If it's not already somebody there. Don't ever get discouraged like, oh, I'm injured now, or I haven't been running fast, or my grades are messed up. Like, okay, that's whatever, it's irrelevant. Because today's a new day, tomorrow's an even better day, and what you do that next week is going to define what you are and who you are for the future. You don't want to look back and be like, okay, well, I've been through this, so I can't. No, it ain't about I can't. I've I will do this, you know. Not I can't, I will. So you have to focus on, staying positive and staying strong-minded, mainly because that's what's going to keep you going. That's what's going to keep you moving forward and keep you moving forward and keep you staying ahead of the game. And I've been in your situation. I've been in your shoes. I've been exactly where you guys at. I swear to God, I've been there. I swear to God, I've been there. And that's why I'm here today. And I can tell you guys my story because trusting the training and believing myself and pushing myself further than I ever thought I could be pushed.